Hey, good morning, fellas. It's the 7th or 8th. It's Sunday morning. I'll show you what's going on. The storm has blown through. We got both of the cats out here. That's Nala. She is a tabby. And that is Bella. She is a tortie. And there are the Franklin Mountains. Beautiful blue sky. It's nice enough for me to be out here. Pool's still pimped out. Palm trees, the rest of that stuff. It's still nice for me to be out here in a t-shirt. And I want to tell you what's happening here, and I'll probably title this something about winter's here for modern women. And I want to be honest, but I don't want you to think I'm trying to be cruel. Now I'm going to leave the door open so that the cats can come in and out. Well, let me just get into it. Got a call. Already went to church. I go to church down the street. And I got a call. It's 9:49 here. It's about, 50 some odd degrees outside. So I get a call from the church. And it's they're asking my wife and I if we can donate some more money to the Winter Relief Fund. And they wanted a substantial amount of money. And what they wanted it for is they have in our community, which is in my little area, and I don't know if you know much about the west side of El Paso, but I live near a place called Franklin High School. There's a big main road called Red Road and Rustler. So that's the community that I live in. They told me that and these are all women, there's 20 women, older women who are on pensions who are really struggling to pay their heat bill. And again, I'm not doing this or saying this to be cruel, but far too many modern independent women never really think about what's going to happen to them when they get old. Several of these women have been fired, not because they did anything wrong. It's just that their jobs at the call centers have disappeared. It's just that their jobs that do customer service, I don't know what else they called it. What is it where you call, anyways, telecommunications or whatever else it is, and they don't even need them, because one of the big things is down here by being bilingual, speaking, or I call it Spanglish, because you're either good at one language and not great at the other. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll get to the point. They need money. Some of them have already had their water shut off. Some of them are in the process of getting their gas shut off. Some of them have already, there's benefits in place from the city of El Paso, but evidently you can only stay on those programs for a certain amount of time, and then they cut you off. There's a program here called WIC, Women, Infants, and Children. Notice that there's no M in there for men or males or anything like that. Women, infants, and children. And there's also the electronic benefits card, EBT. I think that's what it's called, EBT card. And that only goes so far. It's difficult. And I'm going to tell you the truth. The truth is we said no. I'm not going to fork over $20,000 in cash for their fund. I just told them no. My wife, and I didn't ask my wife. I don't have to ask my wife those things. I told them no. No, thank you. We're not going to participate in this. Now, I'm not saying that to be cruel. I have a wife. I have a mother-in-law. In fact, my wife just left to go to Juarez, Mexico, because my mother-in-law, mi suegra, heat is out. And so my wife is going over there. They've already got a guy over there, but my wife's going over there to make sure that if her heat doesn't work, she's going to bring her back and she's going to stay with us, and I don't have any problem with that. My concern is there are so many women out there who don't make plans for their future, and a lot of them that thought they were going to the accounting, they're starting to replace people in accounting with the AI programs, and I didn't know that they could do that. So if that's an odd duh thing, I just didn't know that. That was the one, the call center and some of the accounting things, the clerical work, secretarial stuff is being replaced, because you can hire this thing and it'll work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never take a day off, never get sick. Anyways, to the point. I don't think a lot of the women realize, because Texas is a right to work state, they can just come in and fire. We don't need you anymore. And I'm going to tell you something. I feel duty and obligation to my wife, because my wife and I live in what's called an executive marriage. She pays half of the bills and I pay half of the bills. That's it. That's our marriage. All the other stuff is peripheral. Now, I don't have to help my suegra, but I really love my suegra. I love the way she treats me. I love the way that my wife treats me when she's here as a traditional woman. Both of them, they'll cook and clean. I don't have to lift a finger, which is bizarre to me. It's also pretty easy to get used to. I'm not bagging on the women. I'm not trying to tell you that I don't have any women in my life or I've sworn off women, but I am absolutely empathetic and sympathetic to the men, because no one on earth gives less of a shit about anything. They care more about animals than they do about single men out there struggling. Again, it's women, infant, and children. EBT cards, and there's no big push to go help the men that are out there. There's men losing their jobs too, downsizing anyways. I am an advocate for the men, and it's not my fault. It's not my responsibility, nor is it anyone else's duty or responsibility to take care of these women who never planned for their future. They wanted to have fun in their late teens, their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, and while maybe their mid-30s, they start figuring out that it's all, maybe I need to get a simp or something like that. The difference is, guys aren't, well, there are some guys that are just going to be simps, but for the most part, that's also changing. And I didn't argue with the people at the church, but I did tell them how many of these people in need are men, and the answer was 0. I am going to do just about anything I can do to help men out. And it's funny how everybody wants these equal rights, and they want the right to have the same pay and all that stuff. But I have never, ever seen a woman on the front lines that wasn't a Kurdish female. Love you guys. I'm not trying to be cruel, but winter is literally here and figuratively here. Many women have no plan, and if you're a woman and your plan is to live off your children, I hope you have good children. I'm not doing this to slam on women, but let me tell you something. There are millions of men in the United States that are silently struggling. They struggle every day to pay their bills. They struggle to eat. They have to eat food they can afford, not food they know is good for them. They're more worried about consuming calories to survive than they are about that. There's men that are probably out there right now with no heat, no water, living in a trailer or living in their car somewhere because no one gives a shit about them. Again, the major program here is called WIC, and it's called Women, Infants, and Children. It has nothing to do with men. I used to work at the Kelly Memorial Pantry, food pantry, and the amount of men that came in there. I'm telling you, it's not fair. And anyways, I think I beat this horse to death. I'm not doing this to be malicious or maligned or anything, but when are we going to start giving a shit about those good, hard-working men? What about the guys that go out there and bust their ass, tear up their bodies out on fixing the roads, building the roads, and all of these guys that talk about starting businesses? You can't start a business unless somebody built the infrastructure. Unless you built that business to include all the infrastructure, which you can't do. The only thing you can do is tie into the infrastructure that we've built collectively. It's just not right. I know guys that know guys that are plumbers and electricians and mechanics, especially some of the things like a mechanic when the car's on the lift. They spend a lot of time lifting their arms above their shoulders, and they have problems with their neck and shoulders. The carpenters, anyways. And if they get sick or hurt and can't provide for themselves, oh well. But the first time a group of women are having a problem, let's stop the fucking bus, figure out how to help them. And that's why I didn't submit the money. I asked them how many men were in there. You know what? No men applied. I don't even think the men in our church know about that. So, anyways, I'm not trying to make this a big deal or drama or stuff like that, but it's about time we start saying, well, what about the men? What about the guys that keep the fucking lights on, keep the streets running, keep my internet running? Who came to fix me? Anyways, I think you guys get the point. Love you guys. I'm going to do what I can to help, but it's going to be a very stark, humbling reality for these women who didn't make any plans to retire or figured out that their little office job is gone. It's being replaced by a robot or artificial intelligence. Love you guys. Stay safe and healthy. Take care of each other if you can. And if you can't, you have to take care of yourselves. You are my future. Like a fart in a G-string from West Texas, El Paso, I'm out of here. Bye-bye.